Firstly, welcome round two here at Zandvoort. I'll give you guys a bit of detail on what the race is going to be like in a few seconds. Just firstly, Jonathan's going to have the live stream up again, so make sure you guys go and support him there on the live stream, or maybe watch the race afterwards.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sonic Sim Racing Season 7, Round 2. We're at Zandvoort. 16 runners today. Starting off in qualifying, we might have somebody popping up before the race, but looks like we'll have 16 runners. Ready action out on track. Guys going out pretty early. Want to get those benchmarks done, just 20 minutes of qualifying. Can fly by if you don't get that first run. Things don't go according to plan. 20 minutes can fly by. Not sure if you want to find yourself too far down the order. Difficult circuit. Lots of cars out on track. 6 cars remaining in the pits of the 16, so 10 cars out on circuit immediately. Maybe the other guys just waiting for the track to clear up a little bit, or doing some final touches. Other thing to remember in this race is obviously the time is on it's multiplied basically, so this race will end at sunset, I believe. Maybe darker than that, but I believe it's going to be somewhere around sunset, but headlights will be needed. So hopefully all the drivers have sorted that out. You know, you have to assign a button to the lights. I found that out the hard way. Racing around in the dark at Kyalami was not fun. Currently ride with the judge. So we've got some viewers already. Everyone who's watching, thanks for joining. Welcome to Sonic Sim, welcome to Zandvoort. It's round 2. Welcome to Radio Girl. Always here on a Thursday night. Great to have you back. That's obviously Mrs. Judge. And Mr. Judge is on your screens right now as we speak. No times to speak of just yet. Guys, a lot of guys out there on their out laps. Even more cars have gone out, so just 3 cars remain in the pits. Busy track. So we have JD also in the comment section here on the YouTube channel. Not out on circuit. Why you were missing the race? Not able to make it. Legend also here on the stream. Thanks for listening. Now the first time starting to come in. Fastest so far, 36.6 by Sania. That was your pole sitter in round 1 just a week ago at Misano. Then Nick Leon second, Nismax takes third for the time being. That's a 1:36.6, and I saw times quicker than that in the practice session prior. So these times are going to come down substantially. Eleanor plays 4th for now, can go a lot quicker than that. Cougar 5th. God. He's in 6th. And we've got the judge in 7th so far. Roadrunner 8th. E-Racing making up the field in 9th. Nobody else has set a lap time just yet. Boucher remains in the pits, the only driver not to have gone out on the tarmac just yet. So track very busy now. Got to pick your spot. Come out in a train of cars when you're trying to set your fast lap. Moving up in the world there with the technology, so you can pass the stream to your TV, so it's good. I'm glad the stream quality is good, because if it's not good, then it really shows on the bigger screens. Gavin fastest for now, that's a 1:36.1. He's dethroned Sania, and as I say that, Nick Leon goes faster at 1:35.5. That's closer to the times I saw in the previous practice session. In fact, I think the fastest time in that practice session was at 1:35.5, so now we're going into uncharted territory. Don't really have a estimate for pole position. Don't know what these guys have left in the bag. So some of these guys will have gone out with a little bit of extra fuel, and they'll run out there for a couple of laps. Obviously, as the car gets lighter, and as those tyres get up to a better temperature, we'll see those laps come down. I don't think the guys are out there on single runs. A lot of them will be out there on multiple runs. Boucher's still in the pits. Nothing from him. be Racing returned to the pits after a slow lap time. I wonder if he left the track and got damaged. 12 drivers have now set their lap times of the, there we go, 17. So we started with 16, somebody has joined, so now we have 17 drivers. Should be interesting into turn 1. That's what we had for round 1, 17 drivers. We ride now with AD. No lap time from him as of yet. He's in one of the 4 Ferraris. Popular manufacturer on the mic, sort of Ferraris. As I say that, I notice we also have 4 Audis. So far, 2 of the Ferraris and 2 of the Audis have not set lap times. Also have 2 Porsches, Nismax and Kuda. Currently separated by 4/10 of a second they are in 6th and 8th. Leon in the pits for now, 1:35.5. Has he done enough? Will he sit there and wait for somebody to get close and then react? Still 11 minutes, just under 12 minutes remaining in the session. Guys will come in now, do their final adjustments. If they were holding anything back, running any extra fuel, take all of that out. Put on a fresh set of tyres. And if there has been sandbagging, all shall be revealed. Nick Leon still fastest, 1:35.5. He emerges from the pits. He is going to try and improve on that time. Eleanor pace second for the time being, 6/10 of a second. Then Gavin in third. Buda fourth, Clay fifth. Sania, your pole sitter from round 1, currently in 6th place. Now 5 drivers in the pits. Everyone else out on circuit. There is your provisional pole sitter in the Ferrari. I mentioned this in round 1, but this is a very oddly coloured Ferrari. Not really sure if I was the owner of a Ferrari, I'd be happy with the baby blue and really, really green. Eleanor second, Gavin still third. So Gavin did get his number 1 back on the car. He now begins another run. Big currently in 3rd place. That time is better. Is it going to be enough? Going through the 2nd sector, I believe it is. 3rd sector now. He's slightly up on that time, but I think he's up enough. He's to improve a little bit more. I think he's got a little bit of fuel in there, and he's going to do a few runs. Probably run till the end of the session. not gonna like that. He was up on his time. Not by much, but he was up by a tenth. Could have just had a little bit of an improvement. Ran wide coming out of the final corner there. Difficult right-hander there. You want to get on the power, but sometimes the tyres just aren't ready for your they're just not ready for your excitement. You jump on the accelerator and the tyres say not quite. He ran wide, went over the grass. That was probably invalidated. If he got away with it, he lost a lot of time. On another run. Still in third. Leon still holding on to that provisional pole with a time of 1:35.505. Eleanor still second, Roadrunner now third. Gavin is moved down to fourth, then Huda fifth, Sania sixth. We're going to see a flip in the times now. Leon goes over. He has improved. It's a 1:35.2, so he extends that gap. That gap was 5/10 of a second, it was half a second, it's now 8/10 of a second, so Eleanor is going to have to find 8/10 of a second, as is Roadrunner. Almost no time difference between second and third, just 600ths of a second between the two. Got Gavin in fourth, but he's in the pits, 6 minutes remaining. If he's doing final alterations to that setup, then he better get out there. You don't see him through on that time, or is he accepted fourth place? Is he happy with that? He has emerged from the pits. I'll be right back with you. I just need to fix these camera angles. I'm terribly sorry. And we're back. Sorry about that. I lost all my camera angles, and I needed to go into my menu and sort that out. Got your visuals back. Leon still on provisional pole, 1:35.2. Looks like it's going to be a very difficult time to beat. Eleanor Pace in second, but that's 8/10 of a second. A drift from provisional pole. Roadrunner in third. That's a pair of Audis. Sania goes second. He claims now the second spot on that front row. But he is 6/10 of a second behind provisional pole. Still no one getting close to that 1:35.2. Further back, he racing, currently in 10th. Leon remains in the pits, Sania in second, so still trying to improve. Does he have more? He's going to have to find 6/10. It's a lot of time. It's not like going around and trying to eke out that extra 2/10. 6/10, it's a lot of time. Eleanor 8/10 of a second. Roadrunner also 8/10 of a second. Nothing in it between third and fourth. And then Gavin also not far behind, 9/10 of a second. Times are really close, except for that man on pole. If that sort of pace translates into race pace and he gets into turn 1 first, I think the rest of the field may have a few issues, but those things are very different in the race. Endurance racing is not about one lap pace, as we've often seen. Drivers finish on the podium coming from the back of the field. There's a possibility in endurance racing, and it's all about the long game. It's Max in 8th. Still enjoying his Porsche. Seems like he's going to hold on to that manufacturer, I believe, for the rest of the season. He's going to stick to it and figure it out. Two other Porsches on track, B Racing and Kuda. Kuda, your fastest Porsche at this time. He's in 6th. Welcome to JP, also watching the stream. He's putting his support behind Legend. So Legend, if you're listening, you have a fan base. He's current. Let's have a look at Legend. He is currently out on circuit. One of the Ferraris, one of the 4 Ferraris. Runs wide, coming out of that final corner. Going to be happy with that. Do the whole lap, run over the grass at the end. You're going to get an invalidated lap, but really frustrating. Not able to improve. Stays 13th for now. Ahead of him, Springbok Gamer. He's in 12th in the Lexus. As always, I think he has mastered this car. Probably has several setups for every track. Why switch manufacturers now? Don't complicate things. Doing a good job for the time being. He's in 12th, but only 2.1 seconds adrift. That is qualifying over. So the guys that are out on track that crossed the finish line before the checkered flag, they will be able to finish their lap times. So Eleanor, Roadrunner and Gavin all have opportunities still to improve on their lap times, as does Nismax, B Racing, Springbok Gamer, Legend and the Judge. Everyone's sitting in the pits. That is where they will finish, unless anyone out on track can improve. Legend going over the curbs, giving it everything. He knows this is the final run. Let's have a look. Man in 3rd currently, Eleanor pace. Nismax has improved right at the end. He's going to take the 2nd spot on the 2nd row. 4th place, Eleanor, he's on his final run. Will he be able to improve Roadrunner on his final run? He's about to go over the line, and he does not go over the line. He goes into the pits, so there won't be any more improvements. That's that. You just go through this field before it disappears. Nick Leon takes pole position from Sania. That was your pole sitter in round 1. Then you've got Eleanor in 3rd, Nismax 4th, Roadrunner in 5th, Gavin 6th, Kuda 7th, Clay in 8th, Volley on debut in 9th, got B Racing in 10th, Mike in 11th, Springbok Gamer 12th, T&B the Judge right at the end, just pipping Legend there. Legend at 13th right till the end, but Judge taking 13th spot, Legend 14th. Then we've got Voss in the Audi 15th spot, AD in 16th, and Boucher will start from 17th on the grid. Seems like he set no lap time. So obviously now drivers just doing some final touches to their setups, making sure they have enough fuel, making sure you're filling up enough fuel. You don't want to run out of fuel on the last 2 laps of the race. See, this is round 2. We're at Zandvoort. Next week we will be at Imola. So back to Italy. We're in Italy for round 1, going back for round 3, and then obviously later on in the championship we have the 3rd Italian race, round 6 at Monza. Guys are lined up on the grid. Obviously you can see the timer for yourselves on the screen there, saying 2 minutes. Then we should have a full formation lap, and then we will get underway for this 90-minute race at Zandvoort. Obviously Nick Leon pole position from Sania in 2nd. That's a reverse from what we had in round 1. Round 1 we had Sania on pole, Nick Leon in 2nd. So we also had a all Ferrari front row in round 1, all Ferrari front row in round 2. And if F1 practice 2 is anything to go about, could have an interesting weekend. Ferrari filling up those 1 and 2 slots in real life and right here. Minute and a half to go. It's going to be an interesting run here into turn 1. 17 cars. See all the drivers hopefully remember to ready up, and I don't want to see anyone starting from the pits. I give these little warnings to any driver who may be listening, because I have previously experienced all of these things. Clay also getting support here. JD in the comments. So support for Clay, support for Legend,
10 seconds.
support for the judge. Great to see everyone who's joined the stream. We're going to get underway shortly. Here we go, your timer has finished. The formation lap will get underway. There we go. Leon gets off the line. Now you've got 1 lap to try and get any sort of tire temperature in. It doesn't really help though. I just find you do whatever you can to get some sort of tire temperature, and then after you've by the time I get back to the main straight, it's all gone really. Everyone just wants to run Linus third during the formation lap. Try get some tire heat. Try get some heat into the brakes for that all important turn 1. Thank you there for the compliment. I appreciate it. Interesting to see this Ferrari front row into turn one. Obviously, in the previous round, didn't really have a problem in turn one. The problem came a little bit later. Neo ran wide, lost the lead of the race pretty early on, and wasn't able to reclaim that position. Let's see if fortunes run slightly differently for him this time. But that Ferrari ahead of him, qualifying's anything to go by. And if those lap times really translate into race pace, I think everyone's going to have a very hard time with Nick Leon tonight. For them to come around. Here we go. We'll now take up their positions. And off we go. Hopefully we have no dramas into turn one. Force seems to be tapping off so he can go into turn one last. Doesn't want to have any part of these dramas. Nick Leon leads from Sania. No changes at the start there. Eleanor in third, Nismax fourth. Everyone running Linus third, no position changes at the start. Roadrunner fifth, Gavin sixth. Got Kuda in seventh, Clay in eighth, Wally in ninth, B Racing 10th. And as I say that, all the positions swap about. Let's wait for them to go over the timing beams. Here we go. Things have sort of corrected themselves. Mike now in 10th, Springbok Gamer 11th, Kuda 12th, Legend 13. We got the judge down in 14. Foss. We got Foss, who we saw seemed like he got off the line pretty slowly, but he's in 15th, so he's I thought he was going into turn one in last position, but obviously not. He's either that or he's already made up 2 positions. Archer runs at the back for the time being with the Bentley, not having the best of times. Some of the comments I heard earlier, not the biggest fan of the circuit really. Back to the front, no change at the front. Nick Leon leads from Sania, end of lap 1. Eleanor still in third, Nismax 4th, Gavin 5th, Roadrunner 6th, Place 7th, Folly 8th, Mike 9th, and then we've got Springbok Gamer in 10th. Kuda seems to be the one slipping down the order, he's in 11th, Legend 12th. Force has made up another position, he's now up into 14th place. Sets his sights on the judge. He's up the road from him in the GTR. Top running Porsche so far. Nismax currently in 4th. He just got that position right at the end of qualifying. Looked like he was going to start in 8th at one stage. Actually behind Kuda. And then he pulled that lap out right at the end. Currently in 4th place. Gavin in 5th. He has given up on the Italian manufacturer. You know, raced in a Lamborghini in round 1 and now he's back to old faithful Bentley. So I was about to say he left a Italian manufacturer for a British manufacturer, but both brands are Volkswagen. So yeah, maybe that's why he's able to move like that. That's right, Volkswagen owns Bentley as well as Lamborghini. If you've ever watched MotoGP and you see the Ducati factory team has a Audi Sport logo on their overalls, well, that's because Volkswagen owned them too. Sania still 2nd, Nick Leon 1st. That gap is beginning to grow, 1.8 seconds. Eleanor Pace, he's in 3rd. He's going to want to get by. He doesn't want to see Nick Leon getting down the road like that. It's going to be frustrating for him to see the leader getting down the road and he's got a car in front of him. You don't want to make any rash moves, any aggressive moves that may lead to contact, especially at such an early point in the race. Just 5 minutes have been run of the 90. Really don't want to get a damaged car on the opening laps of the race. To everyone who's watching, thank you very much. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like. And obviously next week when we go live again, you should be notified of that. So if you don't want to miss a race on Thursday night when we stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Gavin still in 5th, Max 4th, Eleanor in 3rd, no changes there. Sania 2nd, Nick Leon 1st, that gap 1.9 seconds. I wonder if there wasn't a mistake there somewhere, because the gap between the Ferraris was holding firm and then all of a sudden it grew to 1.8 seconds and now it's holding firm again, 1.7, 1.8. So whatever the problem was, Sania has picked up the pace and he's trying to close that gap. And Eleanor has started to fall off the back of that Ferrari a little bit. Audi won't be appearing so big in its mirrors, release the pressure a little. To the back of the field, not sure what happened there. Is this on the same part of the racetrack? It is on the same part of the racetrack. I think we didn't actually see it, we didn't get footage of it, but two cars off the racetrack on the same corner, gotta presume there was some sort of contact. So AD and the judge have left the circuit pretty early on, and if they do have damage, don't really want to pit before the pit window opens. It's not going to count as that mandatory stop. Speaking of pit stops, B Racing is in the pits. He is stationary in the pits, currently in 15th place. I don't think that's going to count as your mandatory. You can get the message for pit window opening. Force back to his more usual number, 13. I think we saw him the other day running around with a 1, which which is why Gavin didn't have his regular number. Things looking a little bit more regular. But he's not in 13th as his number suggests. He's one position below that. If he wants to get into 13th, he's going to have to catch Boucher, who's 9 seconds up the road in the Bentley. See, at the start of the race, things looked a bit iffy, looked a bit messy. But he seems to be finding his place. Now in 13th, and he's got a whole smattering of cars in front of him. So he's got a whole bunch of positions that he can make up if he can just get 3 seconds up the road. Let's have a look here. We've got Mike versus Legend. Ooh, and as I say that, somebody's gone off the circuit in a bad way. Is that our debutant? I think that is our debutant. That's Volley. Volley has gone off the circuit, and he rejoins now. He's in 12th. Let's wait for the timing screens to update. Let's have a look where that leaves Legend. Obviously Legend was coming under all sorts of pressure from Mike, and then they entered into that corner, found Volley on the apex. That put them both off. Luckily it doesn't seem like any of them got damaged, but that has relieved the pressure for the time being, and Legend can take a deep breath, because that gap is now 2.2 seconds. It was just 0.2 of a second, so that has given him some respite up the road. Right with Clay, one of the Bentleys. A bunch of cars in front of him. Roadrunner and Gavin. Not far up the road. Riding with Nizmax. Starting to fall off the top 3 a little. Maintaining that 4th spot. Gavin hasn't really been able to close that second gap. It's been sitting there, hovering around a second. Roadrunner 6th, Clayton 7th, Kuda 8th. Legend will be happy with that. He's up into the top 10. Keep those laps coming. Don't have to be the fastest laps, just need to be the most consistent. Stay out of trouble. Right, it's Springbok Gamer, because he's coming under pressure now from Volley. Well, Volley was in all sorts of trouble just 2 laps ago, but now he's back in it. He's obviously got that temperature back in his tyres. He's obviously got the heat back into his brakes, because he's all over the back of the Lexus. He's in 13th, he wants 12th, and looks like he's in the mood to race. He's all over the back of that car. So now the times, how do you absorb the pressure? He goes towards the inside, and oh no, I'm not really sure if that move was there. Came from far back, he was on the inside, but Springbok Gamer was definitely in front, and yeah, I'm not really sure if that move was there. That was from a bit far back, but he lives to fight another day. Damage didn't look too bad on either car, and they're back at it. So we see now up the road, Boucher in 11th, having a race of his own. in front of him, 2.5 seconds up the road, is the McLaren. That will be his next target. Back to the top 5, no change in the top 5. Leon Sania, Eleanor Pace, Nizmax and Gavin. Roadrunner still 6th, Clayton still 7th, Luda still 8th. To JP, if you're still here, if you're still watching, you said you were supporting Legend. Well, he's doing a great job. Ninth place. Holding things together for now. But his next target is a long way away. It's 9 seconds up the road. And that's Gouda. Just 15 minutes have gone. Still a long way to go. They haven't even started thinking about pit stops. Remember, if this field can stay close, more or less like it is now, and the time for pit stops arrive, we could have a drastically different order after the pit stops, depending on who's got damage and who doesn't, who's putting in what level of fuel. Pit stop timing could look drastically different. Maybe someone is running slightly less fuel on their opening run to be faster at the start, slightly more fuel at the end, or vice versa. Pit stops do play a huge part in this, but those haven't even come into play as of yet. Still a long way to go. Probably see most of these cars do their pit stops round about halfway distance, so we'll start to see action in the pits, or most of the action in the pits, round about the 45-minute mark. Not sure who it was, but there was a driver last week that took it all the way to the half-hour mark. I thought he wasn't in a stop. I thought he didn't know about the mandatory stops. Judge in 15th, not having the best arm. You can see the damage on the car. This game is good at a lot of things, but one thing it does lack is it doesn't really show a lot of damage. So that car might not look too damaged, but might not be too much fun to drive. Ollie is in 14th, still behind Springbok Gamer, hasn't been able to clear the Lexus. This car's also a bit scuffed up, is the Audi. Ooh, and he goes over that curb too hard, and that's going to give Springbok Gamer a little bit of respite. Curbs here at Zandvoort, not the most friendly. Can get away with it on some of them. He's got some of these curbs. You don't want to utilize them. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to use them in any way, because they are just going to destabilize the car. Definitely not gaining any time by riding some of these curbs. Ride with the top performing Audi so far on the night, in 3rd place. That's where he started. Hasn't lost any positions, hasn't made up any positions, but he's not able to do anything about the 2 Ferraris in front of him at the moment. They're 2.5 seconds up the road, and then we've got a whole stream of cars Look at this. This looks fantastic. We've got our streamer cars forming now behind the Porsche of Nismax in 4th position. So we've got Gavin, Roadrunner and Clayton all in close proximity, following that Porsche, waiting for a mistake so they can all attack. Got 2 Bentleys and an Audi chasing down a Porsche. I'd say the worst thing about a situation like this is to be the car in the middle. So you're not only worried about attacking, your mirrors are full. All over the back of Gavin, but like I say, difficult situation, especially for that Bentley. Gavin in the middle there. He's going to be trying to get past Nismax, and at the same time, every now and then he's going to look in his mirrors and get it right. These 4 remain. There's Max, Gavin, Roadrunner and Clayton, all running close behind each other. This is the sort of situation that I mean. If you've got cars running this close together, the likelihood of them coming out in this order after the pit stops, very unlikely. So we could have a different lineup after the pit stops if these guys stay this close. So we don't know who's running what fuel, don't know whose tyres are in what condition, whose tyres might drop off first. No evidence of that just yet. Everyone seems to be doing pretty well, especially in this group here. Back at the front, Nick Leon leads on lap 13. That gap 3 seconds between him and the second Ferrari, Sania. Then you have to go a further 3 seconds down and you'll find Eleanor Pace. 6 seconds cover the top 3, and then from the top 3 down to 4th place you got another 6 seconds. But when you get here it's all madness. I can't. What's going on now with the cameraman? Not sure what happened there, but yeah, the cameraman decided to film a corner that had no cars on it, so thank you. No change in the top 8, in the top 10, no change at all. Seems like this isn't the easiest track to pass at. It's probably not the easiest track to follow at for a prolonged period of time. Clayton now all over the back of Roadrunner. He's thinking about it. He went to the inside briefly and then said, nope, it's too far back. Ooh, and Clayton goes off circuit. What happened there? What happened there? Roadrunner, the one that came off worst. He's going to rejoin the track, but Kuda's going to come past him. And there was some sort of a collision there. We didn't catch it. It was a bad camera angle. But Clayton and Roadrunner made contact. And it seems like Roadrunner came to a standstill on the road, but was able to get back on the circuit where Roadrunner had to take a trip through the gravel. So he came off second best. That has broken up that battle. But quite an awesome battle for 4th place. That's relieved all of that. All of the madness has promoted Kuda up into 7th place. Good night for the Porsches so far. But Kuda's going to have to be careful now. He's going to have a very angry Audi behind him. Looking to make positions up. Looking to get back up the road. Towards the man he initially made contact with. Racing in the pits. That has counted as his mandatory stop. You can see the green block next to his name. Everyone else has a orange block with the number 1 in it. That means they still have one mandatory stop. B Racing has completed his mandatory stops. So if he has enough fuel and he doesn't get any more damage, he can race to the end. I don't know how those tyres are going to feel after an hour, but I don't know, can you do your mandatory stop this early? Would it work? So now after that incident that we had in the midfield, let's just go through that order again. Top 3 remain the same, Nick Leon, Sania and Eleanor Pace. 4th and 5th remain the same, Nismax and Gavin. Then you've got a bit of a switch up. Clayton is in 6th, Kuda 7th, Roadrunner in 8th, Legend up to 9th, and Mike is in 10th. Gaucho 11th, Springbok Game at 12th. All still doing a good job, holding things together. 13th, Volley 14th. He's had a bit of an up and down race. Got all the way up into the top 10 and then started having a few mistakes. Still a long way to go, an hour to go, so he can do his mandatory stop now. He is in the pits. Come out and just have a really long run towards the end. If you've got any sort of decent, consistent pace, you might be impressed where you land up. Long way to go. Now we've got Bentley versus Bentley. Clayton all over the back of Gavin. Not sure if Gavin left the track, but it seems like he's lost quite a handful of time to the man ahead of him, Nismax. 3.5 seconds is that gap. And he's got Clayton all over the back of him, so I think he must have left the track periodically. And now he's got his hands full. JD is still here in the chat. Let me know. You're supporting Clay. What do you think of this? He's in 6th, all over the back of Gavin. Looking to get into the top 5. Gavin moves to the inside defensively. I Obviously you can move once under braking. Nice defensive driving, thinking ahead of time. That if Clayton got the superior drive, he would have gone to that inside line. So defended that early on in the straight. Not the easiest car to keep on circuit, this Bentley, so the fact that these two are following so closely, really impressive stuff. We have other battles on track. We have Eleanor Pace. He's all over the back of Sania. What's happened here then? Seems like Sania's had some time off the circuit, or Eleanor found about 5 seconds in a lap. One of the two, whichever sounds more realistic. I'd go with the one where Sania has run off the track. 0.8 of a second is the gap, and now all of a sudden Eleanor Pace has a realistic look at second place right in front of him. There's Max still holding on to 4th. He's been consistent the whole race. Started there in 4th. He's held on to that position. Back to this battle over here. Bentley versus Bentley. Look at this. All over the back. It almost looks like they're touching, but they're obviously not. But looked like they were touching coming out of that exit. And it's not as close as it is on the prior lap. No move from Clayton. He is lining him up. He's waiting for the mistake so he can pounce. While these two battle, it would be a good opportunity for this man here, Kuda, to try and close the 6.9 second gap and close up on them, but he's got a handful himself. He's got Roadrunner all over the back of him, so we have a few battles out on circuit. Gap between second and third now 1.1 seconds. It was 7/10, so it seems like Sania just starting to find some stability again, getting his head down. Forget about the off-track excursion and get on with it, if that's indeed what happened. If I didn't see it, I go with probability. We're back to this battle for 5th place. Every time we get to the straight, I ask, is he going to do it this time? Gavin has gone to the inside defensively, but is Clayton going to go around the outside? No, he's not. Can't do that. Not around turn 1 here at Zandvoort in a Bentley. But he's all over the back. There we go. Let's give you a better camera angle. These two still going at it. And look at this, I think he's got him. Gavin's gone wide, he's gone wide, he's gone around the outside. That's the dirty part of the track. You don't want to go there. And Clayton finally, after several laps of harassing that blue Bentley, he's finally gotten past. Just a mistake from Gavin running wide. And that Bentley behind him was always going to be close enough to pounce on any opportunity. Finally, he's made that move stick. Clayton up into 5th. Runs wide there on the exit of the corner. Want to keep it clean. Gavin's going to want to come back. does. He gets really close there into turn 1. Close enough. He's going to want to stay as close as he can to the back of this Bentley. Keep applying the pressure. Don't let that car get too far off the road. Go to your leader. Nick Leon starts another lap. He leads from the second Ferrari. That would be Senior. Goes over the line now. That gap is 5.6 seconds. Eleanor Pace still doing a good job. He's in third spot. Hasn't let that Ferrari get too far away. Max holds firm in fourth place. He's obviously hoping for a mistake up front, and that will definitely give him a podium. Let's see what happens in the pit stops. Maybe he's running a little bit of extra fuel. Clayton seems to have cleared Gavin now. 1.4 seconds is the gap. Gavin really not able to hold on to the back of that Bentley. He'll head up the road in search of Nizmax. That is a 6.3 second gap, so it's going to take him quite some time to get there. Huda 7th. Still under pressure from Roadrunner. We have 55 minutes remaining, just under 55 minutes remaining, so I think in about 10 minutes time we're going to start seeing a lot of action in the pit lane. 10 minutes remaining, the drivers themselves will start thinking, what are they going to do? Obviously at this stage everything should be decided when it comes to pit stops, unless something has gone horribly wrong. But if you're going to make any calculation changes to that pit stop, they will be working all those figures in their head right now. Roadrunner just can't do enough to get past Kuda. He gets really close there in turn 1, but it's nowhere close enough. 0.4 of a second is that gap as it stands. Is your closest battle on the circuit at the moment. It's a battle between Kuda and Roadrunner, 0.7 of a second. Everybody else is pretty spread out at the moment. Gavin hasn't been able to hold on to the back of Clayton, so I wonder if Gavin's tyres have just fallen off the cliff. He's just not able to maintain the speeds that he was running earlier. Kuda 7th, Roadrunner 8th. Both of those cars I just mentioned are approaching Gavin, and quickly. could soon become a three-way battle, because they are catching Gavin very quickly. That does suggest to me that Gavin's tyres have fallen off. Obviously he's waiting it out. He's got his pit stop strategy in mind, and he knows he wants to stop in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and he's obviously trying to hold out, but those tyres don't look... something looks wrong. I don't see any damage on the car doesn't look scuffed up, so all I can say is it's probably his tyres. Down to 14 runners from the 17 that started. They've unfortunately lost 2 Audis. Yes, we started with 4 Audis, so we've lost 2 Audis, and we've lost a Ferrari. But we started with 4 Ferraris and 4 Audis. We have 3 Ferraris and 2 Audis. So the manufacturers that came with the most cars have lost all their extra cars. Gavin now defending heavily from Kuda. Kuda tries to go to the outside so he can get that. Ooh, and if he had just, he's not going to be happy. If he had just been patient, you would have seen that Gavin was going to dive into the pits. This is probably as I predicted. His tyres just fell off. Probably a lap or 2 earlier than he would have thought. Two Ferraris holding firm at they started first and second. They're still first and second. They're still in the same order. We'll see if the pit stops change this order. The Nas still doing well. It's just 6.6 seconds adrift of the leader. We have a penalty. We have a stop go. We have a stop-go penalty. Is that a stop-go penalty? Yes, that's a stop-go 30-second penalty for Gavin. Obviously got excited on the either on the pit entry or on the pit exit, and over that pit limit, and that's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. He's going to have to come in again. That would not have been part of his plans. Nick Leon, your leader, he is stationary, he's in the pits. Means Sania takes over the lead of the race. Eleanor is promoted into second temporarily. Where's Nismax? There we go, Nismax promoted up into third. Nick Leon emerges from the pits. He's on his way. Comes out of the pits comfortably in, what is that, 7th place? He's in 7th place, and everybody in front of him needs to stop, so technically he leads this race. This is going to be a very important little stint of the race here for Nick Leon. He was the first to pit, so he really needs to have a good, clean, some good, clean, quick laps here. If he manages to go off circuit or get tangled with another car, it's really going to cost him. The gap between him and Sania was just 4 seconds, so he really can't afford to lose any time. Having said that, Sania's got to do everything he can here. Close that 4 seconds. Is he going to react immediately and dive into the pits, or is he going to stay out? Remember, the gap before the pit stop was 4.4 seconds. We'll see what it... is, after all is said and done, only Nick Leon of those leaders has done his mandatory stop. Gavin emerges from the pits. No penalty this time as he goes over the line, but he's going to be annoyed with himself. It can happen so easily though. Car sitting there for what feels like way too long. You just want to get back on the racetrack, back in the race. You know those seconds are ticking by, and there you go. You missed the limit. It cost you so much more time than you would have ever gained. Sania leads by 1.8 seconds from Eleanor Pace. This Max third. Clayton up to fourth. Still needs to pit though. Roadrunner fifth. 7.8 seconds down the road. Got Kuda not far behind. Now this is the worry for Nick Leon. He's got cars here. Luckily these cars are not for position, so I don't think he's going to have too much problem getting past. I think all the drivers are fully aware of who's not on the lead lap. So I don't think he'll have too many problems here, but he comes up to the back of a McLaren. Surely he's not going to be able to be going as fast as he would like, while Sania at the front has a clear track. So I wonder how this is going to play out. Is he going to be able to close? Is he going to be able to close that 4.4 second gap? Is he going to come out in the lead? Is the gap going to be bigger? We need to wait and see. Nismax has come into the pits. He's done his mandatory stop and he is on his way. He is back out on circuit for what should be his one and only stop. Don't think he plans on stopping again. As predicted, lots of action in the pits, around about 45 minutes. Still a lot of cars need to pit though. 7 cars yet to pit. 3 of those cars are stationary in the pits as I speak. So Sania, man in second, he comes into the pits. The judge is in the pits. Springbok Gamer is in the pits. Busy pit lane. Roadrunner. What does he do? Goes past the pits yet again to start another lap. He's going to gain a few positions now as a result of some of these cars being stationary in the pits. Sania still stationary. It's going to be so frustrating for him. He wants to get going. Still sitting in the pits. Clayton now promoted up into second, obviously still needs to pit. Roadrunner up into third. Sania emerges from the pits. Now I didn't time anything, but that did seem like a longer stop. Than the one for Nick Leon. So we'll wait for Sania to go over the next timing beam so we can get some sort of clarity on what that gap is. It was 4.4 seconds before the pit stops. And what have the pit stops done? Oh wow. Sania has lost a lot of time. Seems like he's lost 10 seconds in the process. I wonder if that's just going to put him behind Eleanor Pace when all of this is over. Because Eleanor was just 1.1 seconds adrift of Sania before the pit stops, and he seems to have lost so much time to the car that was in front of him. I wonder if Eleanor is going to come out in second here. It's going to be enough for Nismax to exploit. That gap was 12 seconds. Nizmax did have a fantastic stop. He might come out just behind that Ferrari. Roadrunner in the pits, Clayton in the pits. Eleanor, your leader, he stays out. Legend in the pits. So the only man not to have visited the pit lane is this man here, your leader, on lap 29. He's going to be the last man to pit. Remember, this is going to be interesting. Before the pit stops, this man here, he was in 3rd place. He's 2 seconds adrift from the man in 2nd. 6 seconds adrift from the lead. Nick Leon has pitted. Sania has pitted. Sania seems to have lost 10 seconds to Nick Leon in that round of pit stops. So if Eleanor can have a decent pit stop here, could very well come out in 2nd. And if it's an amazing pit stop, he could find himself in the lead. All depends on what Nick Leon is doing in these laps after the pit stop. How hard is he pushing? He needs to have good lap times here. Otherwise he's going to be shocked to find an Audi in front of him. Still no pit stop from Eleanor Pace. Clayton has rejoined the racetrack. He is in 5th, Nizmax 4th, so those positions have stayed the same. Nick Leon in 2nd, but he is your virtual leader of the race. And then Sania, we'll find out after the pit stops who's going to be in 2nd. It's either going to be Eleanor or it's going to be Sania. It's going to be close, but I think Sania lost a lot of time. Eleanor just needs to have a decent pit stop here. Does he come into the pits this time? No, he does not. Leader staying out. Wait for Nick Leon to come over a timing beam so we can see what sort of gap we're talking about. See a pit stop. Takes quite a bit of time. It's not the 25 seconds you expect in a Formula 1 race. Still just waiting for Nick Leon to go over that start-finish line so we can see the time difference between him and Eleanor Pace. We're just not getting that game. The game is just not giving us that gap, so we can't actually see. We just have to wait for Eleanor to come into the pits. Now he's behind 2 cars who he needs to lap, but they're very much in a battle of their own. A battle that's been going on for quite some time. So them getting out of the way for Eleanor is probably going to mess up their battle. So I wonder, does he want to get held up by these two? He needs to be doing his best laps now. Does he dive into the pits? No, he doesn't. Stays out. I just think he'd prefer to be on a much clearer part of racetrack at this point in time. If everyone's still watching, thank you very much. We've had a pretty consistent audience here from beginning to end. Not too many views, but we know most of the views come after the race. Last week we had something like 7 live views and then 80 views after the race. So the guys enjoy the stream, but not too many people tuning in live. So the ones that did tune in live, thanks a lot. Just over 35 minutes to go. 14 cars still running off the 17 that started. We've lost 2 Audis and we've lost a Ferrari. There's still more than enough Audis and Ferraris to go around. Eleanor, one of those Ferraris, leads the race, yet to pit. I just think Nick Leon's in a much better situation here. He's got fresh tyres and a clear track, so nothing holding him up. He can just put in those lap times, lap after lap. And surely now, if Eleanor was going to jump him, I think he needed to come in a lap or 2 earlier. He's coming into the pits now. That'll be a long drive to his pit box, where he's going to stop for a very annoying couple of seconds before he can get going. And then you don't want to get too excited and get a penalty. Leon is in second, but I think he's going to reclaim the lead. Eleanor is still stationary, no movement from that car as Nick Leon comes around the final corner. Goes over the pit straight. Let's have a look at the status of, there we go, he's still stationary, not going anywhere. So Nick Leon retakes the lead of this race. Where is Eleanor in comparison to Sania? He's on his way out of the pits. Sania's driving past the pit lane. This is going to be close, but he's done enough. He's done enough to jump second place, and I think he'll be happy with that. And that's not going to help his cause. Sania goes off the track, he gets a bit of grass and then comes back onto the track, hits the wall. It's going to have a little bit of damage, doesn't look too bad, but that's not going to help his cause. That's B Racing. I just thought that was Nismax in fourth, right behind him. So Nick Leon leads by a very healthy 17 seconds. He's looking pretty comfortable. We'd have to make a serious hash of things. This Max in fourth, and Clayton has not finished his fighting for the day. He's just coming up on a new battle. Fought Gavin for what seemed to be endless laps. Now he's coming back. He's on the back of the Porsche. And Nismax has kept that fourth position to himself the whole race. Surely he's going to do everything he can to defend it. Is one of the guys that competed in the Kyle Army 24-hour race not so long ago, so I don't think I think he's probably one of the best equipped on the racetrack to take pressure for long periods of time. It's quite a race, that 24 hours, 4 drivers doing stints, working as a team. Fantastic to watch. Hopefully next time they have one, see some more support. Near third, Eleanor pace second. Leon leads by quite the bit. Just Max holding on to fourth. Clayton fifth. Kuda in sixth, with quite a ways down the road here. He's 17 seconds away from that battle for fourth place, and he's got his, I wouldn't say his hands are full, but Roadrunner close behind. If he makes any sort of error, he's going to have Roadrunner all over his gearbox. Just a second is that gap. Looking further down the order for more battles, we've got Legend. on the back of a Bentley. Ferrari versus Bentley. Legend in 9th, he'd love that 8th place, he'd love those extra points. Back to the battle for 4th. 5 tenths, half a second is the gap. Currently 3 battles on track. We have this one here for 4th place between Nismax and Clayton. Then we've got a battle for 8th between Boucher and Legend. We also have a battle for 2nd starting to form between Eleanor Pace and Sania, who's not given up on that quite yet. Pace now coming up on the back of Gavin. Let's put a lap on him. This is going to let Sania get a lot closer. Gotta make the most of this time where Eleanor just can't get past. This is parts of this racetrack you really don't want to go offline and let somebody past. You're really gonna compromise yourself if you go offline. So Gavin just waiting for the straight, getting off the power a little bit, letting the leaders go by. Probably the safest option. They were probably getting frustrated there behind him in sector 3, but that was the safest option. Get to the safest part of the racetrack and pull over. Don't compromise the race by running on the outside of a corner you're not supposed to. Eleanor remains 2nd, Sania remains 3rd. That gap 9 tenths of a second. Gap between Nismax and Clayton even smaller, 3 tenths of a second that gap. All over the back of that Porsche. Probably seen every single detail of that Porsche livery. Looking at the back of it for a while, waiting for a mistake. He's going to have to get a mistake from one of the most consistent drivers on the track, Sania. Join him as he makes a mistake. Runs wide, puts a tyre on the gravel. Lots of dust appears, that's not going to help. Getting a bit of dirt on the rear tyres while going through sector 3. Can't really throw everything at it in that final corner, and it really costs you down the straight. Eleanor clearing him now a little bit, 1.3 seconds, the gap growing ever so slightly. Someone has gone into the pits, it's B Racing. B Racing visiting the pits once more. Clayton again, just lining up that Porsche into turn 1. Not close enough, and the car in front not making the necessary mistake. Just holding his line. White. Battle for 4th continues. Max B Clayton. Gap 4 tenths of a second. 7 tenths of a second is the gap for 3rd. legend as he goes around B Racing. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting Sonic Sim. Back to the front, Nick Leon leads very comfortably. Doesn't look like any mistakes creeping in from him. Just Mr. Consistent on the night. Eleanor did a good job. Came into the pits last and he was able to jump Sania. Jumped that second place that he wasn't able to do on track. I keep coming back to this battle right over here. Nismax Clayton 4th and 5th. Just half a second. Bentley follows a Porsche. Nismax now coming up on the back of Springbok Gamer to lap him. The best thing to do is just follow Springbok Gamer through that final corner. And then get him down the straight. Lexus will probably just lift off, get off the line. That's exactly what he does. Should allow Nismax and Clayton to go through in one fell swoop. As they do, Clayton tries to take advantage of the situation, and he's done exactly that. He's gone to the inside and he's nicely done. He's taken 4th place. It was sneaky, but it's so difficult when you're lapping a car to watch exactly what's going on in your mirrors. But if you have the pleasure of sitting at the back and seeing everything, you can see every little mistake and just capitalize. That's exactly what Clayton did. He moves up into 4th place. Nicely done. But if he's going to want to get a podium, he's got a lot of work on his hands. 16.5 seconds. 16.5 seconds if he wants to get up on the podium. That's if he can shake off the Porsche. Nismax going to let him get down the road, or he's going to hang on with everything he's got, try and force that mistake. Fantastic racing so far throughout the field. 14 runners of the 17 that started. With 23 minutes 24 minutes to go. We're in the final third of this race. See, 90 minutes race. Something to mention that I actually forgot about. I think I mentioned it earlier. I mentioned it in qualifying, is that the time is on accelerated ×3, I believe. So by the end of this race, not only should we have some pretty long shadows, I was told it should look like sunset. So unless calculations were done incredibly wrong, it's supposed to get dark very quickly in the next 20 minutes. So see how it looks at the end, and hopefully everybody has allocated that button to their headlights, because that is not fun. Oh, there we go. I got a compliment there in the comment section. Actually, the race got a compliment. Apparently, you guys are a lot more fun to watch than an F1 race. Well, if you're looking for incredibly exciting F1 races, I don't really think this weekend is the one you should go with. It's the famous Monaco Grand Prix this weekend. Back to Zandvoort. Nick Leon continues his domination up front. Eleanor in second. Sania third. Clay holding on to 4th. We have a comment section full of drivers. Guys need to be out on track. Hope to see you guys on track in round 3. Can still listen to the commentary in the background. Sonia hasn't given up on second place. 1.1 seconds is the gap. As I say that, it comes down to 9/10 of a second. So hovering around that 1 second mark. It's that curb hard again. He's hit that curb hard all race. Last thing you need at this point of the race is to pick up a puncture. See, as these tyres wear, you don't want to spend too much time on the curbs. That's right. Hope to see you guys back for round 3. We're going back to Italy. We were there for round 1. We're going back for round 3. Imola. Very challenging race circuit, that one. A lot of history. And no pressure if you're driving a Ferrari. And then we'll return to Italy one more time in round 6 for Monza. So we'll end off the season yet again in Kyalami. Home race for all the South African drivers. Obviously this is also a home race. We have quite a number of Dutch drivers. Obviously here in Sonic Sim. Racing over from Holland. So we'll be enjoying this track as much as the South Africans enjoy racing at Kyalami, I'm sure. This is not the most updated version of Zandvoort, obviously. This is not the not exactly what the F1 track looks like. I'm missing that incredible banked curb. I'd love to see that. We've had 43 laps. 110 minutes. How the heck did I work that out? 70 minutes. 43 laps. Don't judge me, I was schooled in the public South African school system. Nia still in 3rd, and things are getting messy here because Eleanor's got a whole bunch of cars to lap. Legend decides to go off track. He doesn't want to affect that battle at all. Hopefully he hasn't compromised his position too much. He's in 9th place. He's going to want to protect that 9th place. He's got Gavin behind him. Can't see Gavin in frame, so that gap must be substantial. Legend's safe for now. Things almost got messy. Been lapped many times, and it's the most terrifying thing is when you see not only someone coming through to lap you, but he's in a battle with someone and you just don't want to get in the way. Sometimes your reactions are a little bit too much and you'll end up messing up your own drive a little bit. I say sometimes let them follow you for a corner or two and let them go where it's safe. It's all about the long game. Eleanor behind another car now. I think that is Mike. Getting past the McLaren immediately. This is going to just let Sania come past, but the McLaren now gets out of the way. Second and third are able to continue. Should be assisting Clayton to close the gap to the podium positions with these two battling it out, but he hasn't been able to make too much impression on that gap. It was 16 seconds, it's now 15 seconds. He's going to have to close it a lot quicker than that, or somebody's tyres are going to have to drop off really badly if we're going to have a surprise podium finisher. Because as things stand, Nick Leon, Eleanor Pace and Sania look to have cemented those podium positions. Second and third is definitely not cemented. I don't know what's going to happen here. They're getting really close. Didn't line him up, didn't even think of the pass, just stayed tucked in behind him. Still 15 minutes to go. Doesn't sound like a long time. Still so much can happen. 15 minutes. It's a lot of braking points, a lot of corners. It's a lot of place to still make mistakes. Laps. 15 minutes to go, and oh no, Sania has gone off the circuit in a bad way. Right through the gravel trap, ending at the Armco. Manages to get back on the racetrack relatively quickly, but I think that has just cemented first, second and third. What does that do for Clayton's gap? The gap was 14 seconds. He did go off pretty harshly. I think that might find 4 or 5 seconds. Might find that the gap is closer to 10. There we go. The gap is 12.8. Got away with that. Went off pretty harshly, but basically hit the wall and was able to bounce back onto the track. He was quite lucky with that. He's obviously got damage. Let's see what Clayton can do in the last 15 minutes of this race. Is it going to be enough? Is the damage going to be bad enough? Or are those going to be our podium finishes? And as Max in 5th, he started in 4th, held that position for a majority of the race. Went in for the mandatory stops, came out in 4th, then lost that position to Clayton. Couldn't keep that Bentley behind him. Kuda 6th. Had a solid race. Things didn't look too good at the start of the race, but it was all about consistency. He snuck his way up the field into 6th place. Second of the 3 Porsches on the night. Roadrunner in 7th. He's also had a bit of an up and down race with one or two issues. So 7th could be a lot worse. And we have Boucher in 8th. Had a bit of an iffy start to the race there in lap 1. He looked like he wasn't very comfortable, but as soon as things settled down, took a position here and there, and then took advantage of others' mistakes. He's gotten his way up into 8th position. Solid drive so far. Mad Legend in 9th place. Started pretty far down the order. I think he'll be happy with this result. He wasn't too confident coming into Zandvoort, so this would be a good result. Gavin, race of ups and downs. it was a good race overall. Really just that penalty. I think if that penalty hadn't happened, I think he would have been substantially up the order. The race would have looked very different. Didn't have really a bad race besides that. His tyres dropped off and lost positions for about 2 or 3 laps, and then he pitted and got that penalty. I think had it not been for the penalty, his race situation would definitely not be this one. Springbok Gamer, the only Lexus, I almost said Lotus. It would be interesting if we had a Lotus. No, we definitely don't have a Lotus. But the only Lexus on the night. Sun just starting to come down. You can now start to see the effects, but 10 minutes to go. I think the guys are going to have too many issues with headlights. Unless the sun goes down really quickly in Holland. Remain. No changes at the front. JD, I see you take that as a confirmation from JD that you will be at Imola. Can also get confirmation from Sorpresa, from James. Will you be at Imola? Still want to see 20 cars heading into turn 1 at some point during this season. Let's get a full lobby going. We had 17 in round 1, we had 17 in round 2. And 2 guys sat this one out. Can definitely get that number up to 20. If you're enjoying the stream, obviously give the video a like. If you want to watch our future broadcasts, obviously every Thursday. We also have special events every now and then. Kyalami 24 Hour was broadcast on this channel from the point of view of the car that was being shared by the 4 SSR drivers. So lots of content does come through this channel. So obviously just if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, give the video a like. And obviously I'd love to see these numbers again next week. So if you tuned in this week, even if you're driving next week, put it on in the background, give it a listen. Like I said, let's get SSR up to 20 in a lobby. I want to see 20 cars heading into turn 1. We've reached 50 laps. Leon leads from Eleanor, from Sania. Clayton hasn't been able to make any more impression on those podium places. He's actually fallen back slightly, 18.9. So that gap was, I believe, 14 at its smallest. So has lost a bit of time, maybe just accepting 4th place. That if he does get 3rd, it's going to be something that happens out of his hands. There's Max in 5th, 3.6 seconds adrift. Clayton continuing to fall back from that top 3, 19.2 seconds, so the gap getting bigger. I wonder if his tyres may be feeling a little lazy now towards the end of the race, and that could allow the Porsche to come back at him if his tyres are not destroyed. Might still have something here for 4th place before the end of the race. No other real battles on track to speak of. Just waiting for everybody to bring it over the line. Five and a half minutes to go to approach the completion of round 2. Nick Leon to pole position by a staggering 6.5 tenths of a second. He's led this race from start to finish, with the exception of the pit stops. Obviously Eleanor was one of the last cars to pit, so he led this race for quite a while. But he can do nothing about the man in front of him. 11.9 seconds that gap. Go back to this battle for 4th in the last 4.5 minutes. As I said, I think Clayton's tyres have fallen off. That gap was increasing almost a second a lap. It's now 20.5 seconds down to the podium places, and that's allowed Nismax to come right back at him, 9 tenths of a second. Obviously earlier on in the race, Clayton was all over the back of that Porsche. Was able to get by after a sneaky maneuver through passing some lapped cars, and now Nismax very much able to turn those tables. He goes down the inside of the main straight. He should have this. Does the Bentley have the superior grip? No, he doesn't. Nicely done. Porsche reclaims 4th place. Nismax reclaims his rightful 4th place. Seems like Clayton, after all that, left the circuit just a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. 3.5 minutes to go. Nismax 4th, Sania 3rd. Eleanor still 2nd, Nick Leon 1st. Back of the field, the judge, currently in 13th of the 13 runners. That means we've lost another car. Disappointing. We've lost another car. Just 13 runners of the 17 that started. Four retirements, or DNFs, or whatever you want to call them. Racing in 12th, despite multiple pit stops and not the best race. Not the race he would have wanted. Still going to bring home a decent handful of points. So you get points all the way down to 15th spot. You get 5 points for 15th spot. So everybody who finishes this race today is getting points. big one is Nick Leon. He's going to pick up 30 points for his efforts. He's going to go very strong into round 3. Guys are going to challenge him in round 3. Have to put some time down on the track over the next week in Imola. Can't let him repeat this performance here.
Right, man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
Some confirmation there from the race engineer. This is the final lap of the race. Nick Leon begins his final run, his final push. One more go. Eleanor still in second. 10 seconds adrift. Sania 10 seconds adrift of Eleanor. 20 seconds between the top 3. We've got Nizmax. Doesn't seem to be under any pressure from Clayton. Clayton just wasn't able to hold on. Wonder if that was just him coming out of the pits, nailing it, giving it everything, and then obviously just destroying the tyres 10 laps before the end of the race. That allowed Nizmax to come back. That's why I say sometimes that one lap pace really means nothing in endurance racing. It's all about that consistency, maintaining it over the full 90 minutes. Leon goes around the final corner. He's going to give it a bit of a weave. Yes, he does.
The leader has finished the race.
And there we have it. Winner of round 2. Winner of Zandvoort. Ferrari of Nick Leon. Eleanor Pace, very well done. He comes over the line in an Audi. Second place. And then Sania not far behind. Third place, there we go, there's your top 3, Ferrari, Audi, Ferrari. Where is Nizmax? Wait for Nizmax, he's coming around the penultimate corner. Now the final corner, he'll see the pit straight for the final time and say thank goodness. He goes over the line, that's 4th place classified. Wait now for Clay, 5th place. Where is Kuda? One running pretty close here in the top 6. Well, considering we've been on track for 90 minutes. Now we just wait for the final car to be classified. That will be Springbok Gamer. He comes over the line now, and there we have it. The stats are going to disappear real quickly, so I'm going to try go through this order as quickly as I can. Nick Leon wins the race from Eleanor Pace. From Sania, then we've got Nizmax 4th, Clay in 5th, Kuda 6th, Roadrunner 7th, Boucher 8th, Legend 9th, Gavin making up the top 10. Then outside the top 10 we've got Springbok Gamer, B Racing and the Judge. Those are your top 13, those are the cars that finished. Then we've got Mike, Foss, Volley and AD, your 4 non-finishers tonight. There we have it, folks. I want to thank everybody who watched the race. We had a very consistent audience today. Pretty much the number we started with is the number we ended with, so I'm glad I was able to hold your attention for 2 hours. And I want to thank everybody who watched the stream. I want to thank the drivers. That was a brilliant race to commentate on. I really enjoyed that. And obviously I want to thank Nizmax, finished in 4th place. All the logos you see on your screen, those were made by him. So I don't know how to make this stuff. So thanks to Nizmax for all the work behind the scenes. Thanks to all the drivers for the brilliant driving. Thanks for all the viewers. I'll be back next week. Sonic Sim will be back next week for round 3. We'll be in Imola. See you then. Cheers, guys.